My name is Melissa. My husband had come home very intoxicated, and the first thing that he did, of course, was blame me. He punched me right in the face. That's how I came to be involved, is I made a phone call that saved my life. He'd managed to wrestle me to the ground, and I remember crawling away from him, and he'd bitten the back of my thigh, and I'd rolled over, and then I realized I'm in deep trouble because he's now on top of me. He had me pinned on the ground, and he was just beating my body, all over my body. And I remember when he was beating me here in my lower abdomen, I had said to him, "I'm the mother of your children." And he, I guess probably it was maybe because I was talking, but he just kept hitting my head. And I just remember thinking, I'm probably gonna die here if I don't do something. And I managed to somehow rock him off of me, and he went that way. And I think I tried to get up, but I lost consciousness and I fell back on his arm, and I woke up there. And when I realized where I was, I called for my children to bring me a phone. It was my eldest daughter who actually came around the corner and saw me. She probably saw I had a contusion here on my forehead, and her dad was still underneath my body, and I'd gotten the phone and I'd called 911. As soon as I heard someone on the other line, I'd gotten up off of him. At some point, he'd locked me out of the house, essentially locking himself in with the 4 children. And the police ended up having to break the door down in order to get to him. And so he was arrested that night. So the next morning, I got a phone call from my victim's advocate, Ellen, and she had asked me then if anything like this has ever happened before. And I had told her no. I was already minimizing. In fact, on the scene, I was already minimizing. I was minimizing because that's probably what I had developed habitually. I was minimizing even my reaction to things. I didn't realize that I'd been hiding my kids. I was also making excuses like thinking that, oh, he's only like that when he's really drunk. But completely sober, he's threatened to cut my son with a knife, called my boys names. And I remember saying things like, hey, don't talk to him like that. And, thinking that if I tell him, hey, don't do that, this is the stuff I'm talking about. You're saying these things to your children, and they're getting in trouble at school for saying these things to to other kids, like that they're garbage or you're the worst. I said, I just got off the phone with the assistant principal, and this is what's going on. And he's kind of just like, yeah, so? And so even he was minimizing his own behavior, and I guess I kind of adopted that also. Let's move on and let's just pick up the pieces. And so I tried to adopt that. Okay, let's pick up and let's figure it out. Let's give it another try for the sake of the kids. It was a lot of name calling. It was a lot of, oh yeah, how's that working for you? What did you do all day? And that the income that I was getting off of my little side job was something that he just looked down his nose at. Was just never really good enough. And so I just kind of felt like there really isn't nothing that I could do that was good enough. We tried going to counseling, and I realized, well, he's sitting there, when he turned to me and he said, I don't want to fix you. What he was really saying was that he doesn't want to fix himself. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with himself. He doesn't want to work on himself. He's very comfortable blaming me. And that's something that I was not okay with. He knew that he was in trouble. Like, he knew that something's different, and I don't know what it is. So he was trying to convince the youngest child that not to let mommy and daddy have us get separated, because this is what's going to happen. And so he was kind of putting that on her, making her feel like it's her job to keep us together. Something that even about a month ago, she'd said, maybe give him one more chance. And I said, honey, I've given him many, many chances. And I said, I'm so sorry. I apologized to her about that. But my elder children, they are much more aware. They have seen how manipulating, they have seen how he twists things and lies. And how he kind of, he turns it back and makes it about, you did this. So he's done that to them, and they're aware of that, and they don't want to have anything to do with him. My eldest son is 12, and he has told me that he does not ever want to see his father's face again. My daughter has told me she doesn't want to have anything to do with her dad or his family, because she's seen how manipulative they have all been. So she doesn't want to have anything to do with them. My eldest son, I think that he took his father's words to heart. When his dad would tell him, you're the worst, or you're a jerk. Because even now, when he gets in trouble for something, and something that's not even that big of a deal, he goes to his room and he just, I'm the worst, I'm the worst, I'm the worst. That just really breaks my heart. I have to tell him, no, honey, you are not the worst. I know where, and I've told him, I said, I know where that's coming from. And I said, that's just not true. I said, but God loves you. I've put the kids in counseling. And so we're all in counseling, and really trying to understand how it's impacted the kids. But I remember for his patient intake, the counselor had asked my younger son, how have things been now that Dad's out of the house? And he straight up sounded like Tony the Tiger. He said, they're great. And I'm really hoping that through the course of therapy and anything else that he needs, that he'll be okay. Because I think that one of the boys in particular, their fear is that they're going to end up like their dad. And I'm being reassured that they won't be, even just by having those thoughts, those concerns, that they might become like him, that they won't. That I am breaking the cycle of abuse. I'm breaking it by walking away from it. And as the case continued, he would call me and he would say things like, why are you doing this to me? Again, just kind of making me feel like, oh, this is my fault. Like there was something I needed to do in order to prevent him from the criminal justice. You never really feel ready, but you just have to jump. So I did contact my victim's advocate, Ellen, and let her know that I wish I hadn't let him back in the house. And so she helped me to construct my order of protection, which we focused on the last year worth of things, but some of the scariest things have happened to me, aside from having been given a concussion and still kind of, I feel sometimes like I've still got the effects of a concussion. And so, but we did just focus on the last year's worth of events. So now that I filed for divorce, we had to file to amend that order of protection and to include some of the other instances that have happened. I'm so blessed that I saw the same judge who presided over the assault case, and she remembered him. She remembered my children on the video cam. She had said during his sentencing that this was probably going to be a case that would haunt her because of the children. Because as adults, we have a choice on who we're in a relationship with, but children don't have that choice. It's not your fault. Because I've just been conditioned for 23, 24 years that some part of this is my fault, it's my doing. But I know now that the abuser sees any form of you putting up your defenses or you trying to protect yourself, that's seen as an attack. Even if you're withdrawing, even if you go to a separate room where you lock yourself in there, that is seen as an attack against them. So that's an interesting phenomenon. I think that me being able to speak my truth has been very empowering. So I would encourage anyone who's experiencing anything like this or thinks that they're experiencing anything like this, just to be honest, to speak your truth and to talk about it, because I think that you'd be really surprised how many women understand what's going on in your life, because they too have experienced it, or they know someone who is going through it, or it's I don't think I'll ever really get over that, because the more I talk about it with people, the more people understand.